Good afternoon, and welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Hermitpack. So, since last episode, you'll notice there's more storage drawers up there. I moved some of the ones that were downstairs up to here, and then in addition, I hooked up some new farms, actually. And I went and gathered a bunch of ender lily seeds using a horn of the wild and all kinds of little things. I went ahead and cleaned this area up. I took some of those drawers that we're using. And now we have, over here we have wheat planted, we have carrots planted, and we also have ender lily planted. And, automated and everything going into the system. Over here, I keep forgetting to show you guys this. I don't think I showed it to you last episode. Basically what it is a little sugarcane farm. There's actually water underneath this mossy stone. And whenever the sugarcane grows, it gets broken by the block breaker. And so, for example, if I was to grow this, so it gets broken off, grabbed by the vacuum chest, and then it goes into this drawer that holds the sugarcane. And this vacuum chest reaches, all the way across. Also, if we take a look over here, you'll notice a big mound of wood. This is where I started working on some of the roots of the tree, actually. So, I'm still playing around with it. I do like the shape a lot. I think once, there's roots coming out of every direction, all four directions, I think it'll look really good. The only thing I have to sort is my road. I may have to widen it so it doesn't go quite as close to the tree as I originally thought. So I've got to kind of play around with that because I kind of wanted to give the roots, a decent birth. So I'll probably end up having to change that because I put down the road and I was like, oh wait, I still got to do the roots. And the roots, of course, need to be big to match the scale of the tree and everything. So I've still got to sort that out a little bit. But anyways, speaking of roots, today we're going to be getting into the mod roots. So there's a fair number of really nice things from the mod. I will say that the mod is generally, I feel like it's more gauged towards early game, with some of the features being more mid-ish game. But there is some really nice blocks from the mod that I would like to get up and going. So anyway, let's take a look at roots. So basically the way you get roots, you'll notice that there's old roots, there's verdant sprigs, infernal bulbs, and dragon's eye. Now, the way these are obtained, old roots, you probably came across them when you were breaking grass, because that's where they come from. The verdant sprigs you're going to get whenever you manually break a crop. So we're probably a little bit low on those. I may have to farm up a few with the potato farms or something like that. The infernal bulb you get whenever you break netherwort. It has a chance to, be obtained. And the dragon's eye is from chorus fruit. You have a chance to get it when you break chorus fruit. So, there's a few here, and one thing that makes it tough is whenever you have this stuff automated, you're not going to get this stuff. It has to be manually harvested in order to obtain these items. So anyways, the first thing that we're going to want is going to be our runic tablet. So this thing is not, do I not have any roots? I may have some downstairs. I haven't moved everything all up here just yet. Okay, I have 5. So I will likely have to go get more. I didn't notice, now that I think about it, I didn't notice getting any when I was using the Horn of the Wild. Unless I was just extremely unlucky or just didn't notice them. Because I was mainly paying attention for ender lily seeds. So that's a possibility. But anyways, once you get this runic tablet, you can open it up, you'll get an achievement, and you'll see that there's a few different tabs here. Now, these pretty much represent different stages of the mod. Like right here, you can make a bark knife that allows you to harvest bark, which we'll get into that later once we actually need some bark. This here talks about, the different materials and where they drop. And the chance. So you'll see that like roots have a chance 1 in 40 when breaking tall grass. Verdant sprig is 1 in 30. Infernal bulb is 1 in 20. And dragon's eye is 1 in 10. There's also growth powder, which is basically a bone meal. But it only works for grass. And you can throw it. The Rooty Stew is just a food that you can make, and the Healing Poultice is basically like an early game healing potion that you can craft. But none of that stuff I'm all that interested in getting into right this second. The second tab here is about making spells using staves and different things. The third tab here is about rituals, and the fourth tab is about sprites, more or less. That's pretty much just a general idea of what each tab does. Now, what I'm interested in doing today is going ahead and jumping into the rituals, because the stuff that I want involves rituals, and I also want to get into sprites. The spells, I'm not as interested in getting into, personally. Some of these are kind of nice, which we may get into those a little bit. If you guys want me to get into that more, do let me know, and we will definitely jump into it. But, like I said, the main things that I want to focus on today is going to be getting into rituals just a little bit. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a few of these rune stones. And these are fairly easy to craft, just requiring smooth stone and lapis. And we'll go ahead and start with 32. I think that should be sufficient. And I am going to have to farm up some verdant sprigs. I don't think I have any at the moment. So give me just a bit. I'm going to get those farmed up. It shouldn't take too long, realistically, because I can create bone meal. But, yeah, I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so I got enough. I got 3 here for breaking all those potatoes. And I went ahead and replanted all of them, like a full field of potatoes, because we will want some more verdant sprigs moving forward. But I actually have gold blocks. The first thing that we're going to want is going to be this casting altar. Now, we are going to need a runestone symbol. Very easy to craft. And, oh, do I have poppy? You're going to need a lot of flowers and different things. Oh, yeah, we've got plenty of poppies. Never mind. I need to move all that stuff up here. I totally forgot about it, and I do apologize. But anyways, there's our casting altar. We're going to get another achievement, another original block. And then we're also going to want to get ourselves a few of these incense braziers. Now, I'm going to go ahead, if I recall correctly, I think for the full size, I want to say that it's like 12 braziers for the largest rituals, but I'm going to start with just 4. I'm happy with that, you know, to get us up and going. And then I'll also want to go ahead and get some standing stones. And these are crafted with just rune stones and redstone. And we're going to go ahead and get ourselves 8 of these, is what we want. Because that is what we need for full, you know, starting out rituals. Let's go ahead and grab another stack of those, actually. So for like I mean, there's a couple rituals I think you can do without any standing stones. I think the living tools. These are actually really, really nice if you're just starting out. If you go ahead and jump into Roots, like right out the gate, Roots is a very, very effective mod, and that is because you can make these living tools. And basically they're wooden versions, but they automatically repair themselves. So that is an option, you know, if you're just jumping into a mod pack or something and you need some really, you know, decent starting tools. And in addition, they are, as far as strength and what they can mine and stuff, they're on par with iron. So, you know, they're not bad tools to get started with. But, you know, we've got tinkers already, so there's not a whole lot of need for that, I don't think. But anyways, let's go ahead and set up our altar area. So basically, we're going to put our casting altar down, and this is the center of your ritual. So just keep that in mind. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come out 2 blocks. Well, I guess technically 3. 2 in between. I always count it by the number in between, but I know a lot of people count it out. You know, it's just personal preference. I say that's 2 blocks. Most people would say that's come out 3, you know. But anyways, we're going to put our standing stones down. Just like this. And then we're going to go ahead and make like a square structure with them. So all in all, you're going to need 8 of these standing stones for your first upgraded tier. So I believe, like I said, I believe the living tools are like the only thing that doesn't require, because see, if you look at these, there's no altar set up. That's because you really just need the altar, as well as some incense braziers. And then our incense braziers, they just need to be anywhere within a 9x9 around the casting altar. So we're just going to put them something like this, just for symmetry. And so now let's go ahead and jump into doing our first rituals. And so the first ritual that I want to show you is one called Wild Wood. And basically what this is going to do is this is going to transform wood around the altar into a new version called Wild Wood. Similar to the idea of changing wood into living wood from Botania. It's a similar concept, I feel like. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves just a bit of oak wood. We have plenty of this stuff, as you can tell. And then if we look in here, there's a couple things that you're going to want to take note of when you look at a ritual. Right here, these are things that need to go onto the altar. So we're going to need vines, which we actually have down there. Verdant sprig, I have one of those. And we're also going to need glowstone dust. Now, in addition, there's 4 other things listed here. These are incenses. So there's 4 different incenses. And so you're going to need all 4 of those in different incense braziers and being lit. So we're going to need oak, spruce, jungle, and acacia. So now we're going to go ahead and make our bark knife. So this thing is very cheap to make. Not a problem. And if we go down here, which 4 was it? Oak, acacia, oak, spruce, jungle, and acacia that we need. So what we'll do is we'll just right click that wood and we'll get some oak bark. Now there is a chance that's going to destroy the wood. So like right there, for example, it destroyed it, but it's not 100%. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes the wood will get broken. So right there, those 2 pieces of jungle, I got 6 pieces of bark. It was 3 a piece. Oh, wow. Got lucky on that one. We got 5 spruce off that 1 piece of wood. See, it's just like a chance. It's not a specific... Yeah, that one I got 1. Very, very nice. So anyways, we've got our 5 different barks that we're going to be using as incense. And another thing that you're going to need is going to be some kind of lighter. Flint and steel works just fine. So that's what we're going to grab. Just one of these. And then we just need our vine, right? Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to lay this wood out. By the way, this actually got destroyed on accident. I was breaking things with the lumber axe, cleaning up that oak that was here, and it was too close, and it got the platform. So I have to rebuild that. But when it first happened, I was just like, oof. So I haven't done it just yet. But anyways, this is going to affect blocks about 3 blocks away. So let's go ahead and just lay this stuff out. And I'm not going to be too particular about it because, of course, this ritual is fairly cheap to do. So I'm not going to min-max it too much. And we'll use that for just an example purposes. And you can see, you'll be able to see how high it can actually affect and stuff like that. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to first put our items on the altar, which would be a verdant sprig, a vine, and a piece of glowstone. And then we need to go to each of our braziers and add our incenses. In this case, all these different barks that we collected. And you'll notice that you see the, you actually see the wood down in there. Kind of just rotates. It's kind of hard to see, but it is down there. You can kind of see that one a little bit better. And now we need to go around to each of these incenses and light them. And you'll notice the smoke starts coming out. Basically, we're just activating these incense. And then what we'll do is, as long as the altar has everything that it needs, we can sneak, right-click, and it's going to start the ritual. And there we go. You'll notice that it did pretty much all the wood minus the wood on the far end. So it's actually, I think, more like 2 blocks out. But it can go up higher, as you can tell. So, but yeah, I guess it's more like 2. So, it's been a little while since I've used this mod. The last time being in all the mods, and then when I did the showcase for it, I was thinking it went all the way out to here, but that's fine. It still produces a lot of wildwood for us. You know, and it's fairly easy to clean up. Now, in addition, if this incense is still burning, you can do the ritual again. So if we wanted to It'll be a little bit harder, I think, with this ritual because it takes so much setup on the wood. And so we've still got incense in the air. Great. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to set up the ritual once more. The items on the pedestal. And you know what? We don't have verdant sprigs, though. Okay, our incense is extinguished now. Well, that's too bad. I was hoping to make it in time. But, anyway, just to give you an idea, if your incense is still burning, you can, you know, redo the ritual with the same incense. It doesn't have to be brand new incense. So if you just did a wildwood ritual and your incense is still burning, you know, feel free to do it again. As long as you have the items on hand, it won't be an issue. So I did forget to light all the incense. I did add a bit more wood. We'll see what the maximum height is, maybe. Okay, so it looks like from the altar, like if you count the block that where the altar's at, you can come up 5. And you can also go below it as well. So just keep that in mind. So there is a bit of range on this ritual. So you can actually, I mean, this was like a stack and a half of wildwood, I want to say. So, you know, it's not too bad to make this stuff. Even for building purposes and stuff, if you have a good source of oak. Yeah, so we've got quite a bit already. Now, if you have incense in these altars and you want to get rid of it, you can just shift right click and it will extinguish that incense. And the items aren't still going to be in there or anything. You know, as soon as you light them, those items are gone, regardless of how long the incense burns. So if I was to light this again, you'll see that it doesn't do anything. Now, the reason that I want this wildwood is really just for decoration aspect. There's a few things that we'll be able to make, but you'll see that we can make these planks. Look just like that. But then in addition, there's other things that we can make with wildwood for decor that I feel like are going to be fairly important for us with the build that we're going for, of course. One of my favorites is if you use flint, and it's kind of like the rune stones were, but you can get this nice wood with that symbol on it. In addition, we don't have otherworld leaves just yet, but that is a really cool block, by the way, just a heads up. You can also make this like bark variation. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do with the wildwood that I feel like would be perfect for our build because, of course, we're aiming to use, you know, a lot of different kinds of wood and nature based things and whatnot. So I'm fairly happy with that. Now, in addition, there is some armor in here. The Sylvan stuff is going to be for spellcasting, while the Defender stuff is for actual defense-based, you know, items. So this stuff does require a ritual to make. I'll probably end up making it just to have it. We may actually make it right now. But basically, it's like, it's better than iron, but not quite as good as diamond. But it does heal itself naturally, and, you know, there is some really nice features to it. So I think we're going to make that, actually. And to do that, we are going to have to get some attuned standing stones. Now, these are a little bit more expensive, requiring diamond, nether brick, and the rune stones. I believe you only need 4 of these, though, if I recall correctly. Alright, so we have enough to get our attuned standing stones, and we'll get another achievement, your very own hedge. And so with these, basically, like I said, you only need 4 of these, and they're going to come out, they're going to be one away from these mundane standing stones in each cardinal direction. So just like that, and that is, for most purposes, that is a fully sized altar. Now, like I said, some of the higher tier stuff that we're going to get into, especially dealing with the sprites, the final sprite summoning does require 12 braziers. So, you know, we will eventually make some more of those. But not right now. We're happy with the number that we have. So let's go ahead and we're going to make our Sylvan armor. And actually, I think this is a good chance. I believe it all requires the same incense. Yes, it does. So for this, we're going to need 4 oakwood planks. We're going to need a full set of iron armor and 4 diamonds to start with. So let's go ahead and snag that. Then in addition, for the incense, we're going to need some wheat and an oak sapling, which of course are not issues for us at all. And then we're going to need 2 pieces of oak bark, which I believe we already have that on hand. We do. Just so happens we have 2 of them too. That's a little bit lucky. It was not planned, I promise. And so anyways, let's go set this ritual up. Wow. Wow. Then we'll go ahead and load up our next ritual. Start it up. Like, I know the Defender chestplate is 1 armor higher than the iron. So, I mean, it's worth making this stuff, I feel like. And you'll notice that we're doing all of this with the same incense. So, I do love that feature that we can just keep doing this stuff. As long as you do it back to back. They only have, like, I want to say it's like a 5-minute time limit or something like that before the incense burns out. Maybe more or less, give or take, you know. And there we go. So let's go ahead and throw this stuff on. I do think it looks awesome. And one thing I want is I want a lot of this Defender and Sylvan stuff. I am Root achievement. Of course, being a reference to Guardians of the Galaxy. But anyways, I do want some of the Sylvan armor and this Defender armor around the base on the armor stands and stuff. But this stuff is fairly good defense, and like I said, whenever it takes damage, it will slowly repair itself. So you can kind of make this stuff and then just kind of forget about it because you're good. It's gonna fix itself. And so the last thing that I want to do this episode is I want to get into energized stones. These things are absolutely amazing. By the way, I will say there is a ritual here called Sacrifice. Now, if you watch my All the Mods series, you probably know what I'm going to say. But if you do this ritual, make sure that you do not stand within the ritual circle. Because it will kill you, and you will lose all your items, and they will be unrecoverable. So, just a heads up, it's very, very dangerous. So just keep that in mind. So anyways, our energized stones, they require, I will have to go get nether wart. I'll have to go farm a bit up in verdant sprigs. So I will be back in a moment once I have some verdant sprigs and some infernal bulbs. And then we'll continue and we'll get our energized stones up and going. Alright, now there's a couple different stones that I'm going to want. And of course we can use the same incenses. These do have to be a little bit different, and I'll show you why. But for the first one that I want, the accelerator stone, we are going to need jungle bark. So I believe we've got jungle bark already in the system, correct? Yes. We have 4 pieces. That's great. Now next up, I'm going to want the grower stone. This one takes birch bark. And I believe we do have some of that. We have 4 pieces. That's wonderful. And then for the last one that I'm going to want, and this one is going to kind of be extremely, extremely useful for another magical mod that we'll segue into in the very near future, which is, of course, blood magic. And that is the healer stone. Now, this one does require a gas tier. So it's a little bit harder to get. I don't know if I have a gas. Oh, I do. I do have a gas tier. Awesome. So, and we're going to try to make quite a few of those, since the incense is fairly expensive for those. At least at this point, you know. But anyways, in addition to that, each stone is going to require glowstone, runestone symbols, and attuned standing stones. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab like 10 of these runestone symbols. Funny story, that's actually all the flint that we have. We'll get 10 glowstone, and then, like I said, we're also going to need those attuned standing stones. And there's our 10 attuned standing stones. So we've got our attuned standing stones, our glowstone, and our runestone symbols. That's the actual materials for the altar. Now, in addition, of course, we're going to need the gas tier, the birch bark, and the jungle bark. And then we are also going to need, I believe it's wheat. So we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a bit of wheat as well. Let's go ahead and hop on down here, and let's get these things crafted. Now, these attuned stones are absolutely wonderful. If you've never played with them, just a heads up, they are great. But we'll go ahead and set our items onto there. And the first one that we're going to make, let's see, the accelerator stone. I think what we're going to do is we're going to make 4 accelerators, 4 growers, and 2 healers. Is my plan. I think so. So we'll go ahead and set our jungle bark in, our wheat, our verdant sprig, and our infernal bulb. Let's see, that's the bark. Okay. So we'll go ahead and light this. And there we go. We're going to let that run. And we'll get this thing up in crafting again. And after this one, we're going to go ahead and switch it over to the birch bark and start making our next stone. So let's go ahead. We're going to throw that stuff in. We're going to extinguish this, throw in our birch bark, light it. There we go. So we don't actually have to waste more infernal bulbs and verdant sprigs. Now we are probably going to have to use 2 of them, I believe, in total, like 2 sets of each incense. But that's okay. 2's not so bad, I don't think. And so you'll notice that now we're making growing standing stones. There we go. And let's go ahead. We're going to extinguish this. Well. Okay. All the incense reset, so that's fine. Because it just because it had been a while. You know, they don't burn indefinitely. Anyways, we'll go ahead and light these. And there we go. So now we have our growing stones, our accelerating stones, and our healing stones all done. And so let's start with the growing stone. The growing stone, you can place this down next to crops and it will speed up the growth in which they grow. So, for example, maybe I want to, let's see, I like to put it next to one of these, honestly. Like, so the center area, it would cover like all these different crops. So I think we're just going to remove, like, say, a carrot. We'll put this growing standing stone. Now these do stack, so you could put additional growing standing stones and it would speed it up, you know, even more. And I believe they cover a radius of, I think, 4. It's almost like a water source block. If I recall correctly. Let me double check. Now I can't recall. It doesn't tell on there what the distance is. But I do know these things do require redstone power. So let's go ahead. And not like RF or anything like that. It just requires like a redstone signal. So let's go ahead and get ourselves just a few levers. And then what we can do is we can just drop down. I'm going to go beneath it. I do believe. Maybe. Let's see if there's something I can do down here. Alright, we'll do something like that. We'll just move those cables out of the way. And we can put our lever on the bottom. And you'll notice that it starts glowing. And so basically what it's doing is it's now affecting the area around it with a growth speed increase. So you'll notice that stuff is actually noticeably growing quicker. You'll especially notice it over there with the wheat and, you know, everything. It is affecting it. So very, very nice. And, you know, they don't require anything else other than just that redstone signal. So that's just a free, whoops, I forgot I don't have my slime boots on. But that's just basically a free growth speed increase. Now I'm also probably going to do the same like over here, I think, because I think speeding up these ender lilies would be nice to have. So I think over here for right now I'm just going to set it up like that. I'm not going to do anything too elaborate because I don't have, you know, I don't have a field full of ender lilies and I don't have anything else planted here. So for right now I just want to focus on getting these things to grow faster. Now I do know that ender lily seeds, they're limited by the amount that they can grow each day. I think it's just 1 growth stage per Minecraft day, if I recall correctly, like when they're planted on dirt or something like that. But this will increase growth ticks and should still cause them to update faster, grow faster, and, you know, should. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I'll probably end up moving them shortly once I add more crops there. And this other one, I think I'm going to put it over here by the nether wart. Just because infernal bulbs will be more useful for us moving forwards. So it's definitely worth setting up one within range of this. So next up we have the accelerating standing stone. Now this one, I'm going to put this, I'm going to put one near each edge of this tree, basically. And basically what it does, you'll notice now I have speed 2 when I'm around this thing. And if I move a little ways off, you'll notice the range is actually quite incredible. Yeah. So this far, you know, I'll have speed 2. So my idea is we'll eventually have these all around the base so that we have like speed 2, you know, pretty much everywhere around the base. But for right now, I'm just going to set them up kind of in a pattern. I know it's kind of a mess, but that's okay. I can live with it. So there we go. We can pretty much move between these. You'll also notice that it's affecting the animals and giving them speed 2. Pretty much any entity, monsters included, will get speed 2 when they're around this. Now there's other versions that give like slow, or they'll light things on fire around it. There's all different kinds of things like that. You know, with these stones, and they are very, very handy. Now there's also a version that's just for decor, and you can actually change the particle color. So you can have like red particles or purple particles or whatever coming out of the standing stone. So we will definitely get into those in the very near future as well. Now lastly, we have one other one here, and I'm going to set it up for right now. This is just a temporary location, of course. I'm just going to put them right here. And you'll notice that I have regeneration when I'm near this one. And one reason that I want these is because whenever we start blood magic, of course, we're going to have to stab ourselves. And, you know, having a constant regen effect when you're near your blood altar is amazing and easy to do, of course, with this mod. Now, there is another thing that we'll make once we get into blood magic that also gives us life regen. So we'll have double life regen going. And it will be a little bit easier, you know, getting into blood magic and everything. So, but anyways, with that said, I'm going to end out the episode because it is wrapping up point. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. Next episode, I'm not entirely sure. There's a couple ideas that I have for next episode, but I'm not sure which one I'll end up going with. And as always, if you guys have any preference, do let me know, and I will definitely consider, you know, take into consideration what that is. One thing I would like to get soon is flight, and of course, to get our flight, we're going to have to kill the Wither, as well as go to the end and get Dragon's Breath. So we may start moving towards that fairly soon, because I've told myself, okay, I'm not going to cheap out and go for the Angel Ring because it's just too easy. I'd like to do something a little bit different with this series. So Wings of the Bat is what we're going to be going for. So we may start that next episode. We'll see. I would like to have flight because at the moment I'm kind of limited as to where I can build, because a lot of the building, of course, is going to be up. And I can't currently do that without flight. So we may move towards that next episode. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys join me for next episode. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'm Groot, and I will see you guys next time.